So currently what I will do is about 30 minutes before my lesson, I'll send a Zoom link to my students by email and Daymap as well. And they'll log in and they'll able to see on Daymap under lesson what we'll be covering for the day. On Daymap, I'll also attach all the links to the videos or the articles that I'll want to use for that particular lesson. So if they want to do any preparation, they can, but it's not expected. This gives us a chance for those students that may have, spotty Wi-Fi or whatever, a chance to log off and focus and then log back on. So in those circumstances, I'll give them 20 minutes or however long they need to complete something, and then we'll all come back as a class. So I'm pretty much doing what I would normally be doing, except in a virtual world, establishing what we're doing with the lesson, answering any initial questions, letting them get on with it, and then coming back together and discussing things and answering any questions that may have arisen from the readings or whatnot. And the students seem to be engaging really, really well. I've seen a lot more interaction from those that wouldn't otherwise interact. So that's how it's going at the moment. Everything online, Zoom, Daymap, my websites, Google Drive, any way that I can access useful information for the kids and makes it easy for them. Bizarre to begin with, because a lot of the joy that comes from teaching is the interactions and the building of relationships with the students. But other than that, the transition has actually been quite smooth, smoother than I anticipated. I tend to be a bit of a Murphy's Law kind of person. If something can go wrong, it probably will. But I haven't really dealt with that at all. I think all of the preparation we've done across the years in terms of building Google Sites and getting across Daymap and kind of establishing those independent learning sort of mechanisms are really paying off now, both for myself and the students, because we are able to work independently so well as individuals. The transition has been a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be, and it's definitely been a lot smoother than I'm hearing others in other industries are finding it as well, and even other teachers. So the transition's been pretty good. Hasn't been too many, thank goodness. Probably the biggest one is, as I said, the spotty Wi-Fi situation for some of our students that are in more remote areas, or there's multiple people on the Wi-Fi because everyone's working from home at the moment. But I've been able to get around that with the links that I discussed. So going to the website or looking at the links on Daymap that I've established, and then giving them that chance to log off from Zoom so they're not draining their Wi-Fi too severely, and then bringing them back when they need to. Also, if they're working on something that takes up a whole lesson, I'm obviously available the entire lesson on email and Daymap as well. So if they need to ask something without having to log on and contribute to that drain, they can. That's probably the biggest challenge. I don't think there's really been any others. Hasn't changed. Well, the content certainly hasn't changed. Because, yeah, as I said, all the work that myself, and I'm sure a lot of others, have put into building their websites and preparing to within an inch of their lives over the many years, has kind of made it pretty straightforward. In terms of that practicality, like, obviously I can't really write on a whiteboard anymore, so I've got one of those like stylus pads that I use. I'm doing a lot more like sharing documents that we're all contributing together, as opposed to doing like brainstorming or anything like that. We're still doing our breaks if we need to, but oftentimes I'll give them the option of, let's work through the break and you can have 5 minutes less at the end, which most of them take advantage of because they're at home anyway, so they don't really mind. I'm seeing a lot more pets, the biggest thing. And Yeah, as I said, I think one of the biggest changes is probably there's been a lot more contribution from students as well. I think because as we've recognized as adults that the need for connectivity with others and to have discussions and maintain a community feel. I think the students are really feeling that as well, that they're only speaking to their parents and their siblings or whoever else, that this is a chance to see their friends in a circumstance that they are used to in terms of being in a classroom. So I'm getting a lot more interaction and I think a lot more gratitude as well from the students. They see the hard work that we're all putting in, and are appreciating it and are really valuing that they can see that their education isn't being affected at all in terms of its quality. Yes, it's something new and different, but it's just building that resilience, and they're developing skills that will really help them as we go forward and push through this period and, in the future, should anything else like this ever happen again. I think we're in an absolutely brilliant position to continue this. Actually, I think one of the beauties of being in a smaller, more bespoke school is that the community is really built in, and we can make drastic changes or rise to challenges quite quickly. I think that week and a bit that we went online before the government was even suggesting it really paid dividends for us. It gave everyone an opportunity to kind of iron out any difficulties. The teachers came together and expressed what was working and what wasn't. We were able to help each other to get on the same page. We were able to set up things with our students while we still had them in person, but still maintain good, consistent quality education for those that were already working from home. So I think that if this carries on for however long it does, we're in a really good position, because we all have ironed out all those little kinks, and we've all put in a lot of groundwork across the weeks and the years leading up to this to set ourselves up really, really well.